Welcome back in our first online class on Alchemy of Movement and Vitality. Alchemy literally means the chemistry of all, or how life really works. It's about combining, putting together different elements so that you create something magical. Elements is in a way difficult for people to understand what that really means, but you can do it in a more simple way. If we look at the cycle of the sun and the different seasons, then it becomes very simple. We have spring in relation to the wood element. It's this new movement, the opening of everything. You have summer in combination with the fire element. Everything is in its full expansion and the heat is there. It's this movement. And then later on you see everything starts to contract, and the trees, they start to lose their leaves, and the structure remains. It's this contracting movement, sun going down, also the evening. And then we go into the winter where everything rests, and it's this flowing motion where everything gets still and we start to resource. In the middle is the earth that combines everything. It's the point where we look from, and also what brings it all together. The alchemy of movement is moving according to these 5 different elements. And if you're still alive, then everybody will have one of the elements and the seasons as a natural talent. It's still there. But for sure there will be 1 or 2 that are much weaker. And when they start clogging up, you will see different kind of movements, emotions and thoughts, they get more fixed. And we start to feel limited. Let me show you how that works for every type. Maybe you recognize yourself. Don't take it too serious, because afterwards I will show you a way to open up and get back into the natural force of that element. The typical movement for the element wood and for the spring is this opening movement. It's related to freedom, to space, to the full range of possibilities. Like this rose bush in spring that shoots in every different direction. If people cannot make this movement, they get a little bit contracted in their solar plexus, the liver gets tense, the body gets rigid, people start to look like this. They're not tense, but actually they're very tense. It's a little bit explosive, and they tend to get angry and pissed and irritated about everything. They often talk like this to you, because there's so much tension, and this space that is so typical for the wood element is not there anymore. So everything gets serious. What they're missing is this kind of movement. So you swing your body, just follow. You swing your body, and in the beginning you can do it not moving your hips too much, so that your waist and your solar plexus is moving. And you give that some time until you relax, you drop your shoulders, drop your jaw, because we tend to bite a lot when you get very serious. And then you let this heel, one heel, come off the floor, and you make the movement a little bit bigger. Don't force yourself if it's a long time ago, or, well, if you're one of these people who tend to get serious. But then, if you feel comfortable, you start to make the swing bigger. It's like throwing a disc. And you have a deep out breath. Feel for yourself what works well, and make sure you start to feel this opening your hip and groin area. If you feel comfortable with it, you can go as deep as you want. It's like throwing a disc on the Olympic Games. As I said before, make sure you keep breathing. Try to keep your knee above your ankle so that you don't force your knee, and your heel at the back is opening up. So this whole area is opening, and your spine is twisting all the way till your neck. So you look behind you and in the corner. This will make you less serious and give you more space. Then, if you come from the spring, the next one is the summer. That's the element of fire, the full expression. And if people are in that typical fire quality, they are so excited, they like things, they want to be alive. But if this movement is not there anymore, they tend to feel hurt and careful, and the heart, where it's all about, starts to withdraw. Now they're in an attitude of being careful and lonely and withdrawing. Or it can also be this person who is all over the place, you know? And when they talk to you, you tend to protect yourself because they're way too much fire. Balancing the fire, you can do the best like this. When it's stuck, then focus on legs open, focus on opening your body, open your breath. Have a very deep in-breath, and when you breathe out, let's go completely. The two different types I was showing before, the person who is like withdrawn and shy and feeling hurt, lonely, he needs this one. And the one who's all over the place, they need like to let go, breathe out the fire, put it back into the earth. If you make the movement, then make sure you're not just moving from your neck, because what it's all about is your chest. So when you open up, open your groin area, and then lift your chest towards the ceiling and look straight into the sky. And breathe out. Breathe into these parts of your lungs that you haven't been using for a long time. If you haven't done this for a long time, again, start carefully, start slowly, it's a better word. If you want to make it more intense, you can bend further and breathe out, sink deeper on the out breath, and that's going to give you a lot of heat. Start step by step to build it up, and you will feel that the fire in your body gets definitely stronger, but also more balanced and grounded. Then from the summer, the energy moves to the autumn, and that's typical for the element metal. And with metal, it's a structure of clarity, sharpness. It's letting go of everything that is not needed anymore. And that clears the whole space. And if you look at how a tree is functioning in autumn, they let go of all the leaves, the juice is withdrawing in the trunk and then in the roots. And this is the way to survive and to regain vitality. We people, we tend to keep the leaves all the time around our head. We get very heavy, and then we have this charge on our shoulders. Well, people who have this heaviness, typical for metal stagnation, they have the tendency to talk to you like this. How are you? I feel very good this morning. They don't even realize anymore, because there's so much stagnation in the two different aspects of metal, and that's the intestines, which are often very full, and the respiration, the breathing. So if the breathing gets superficial, then also the heart suffers from that. And then the amplitude in the breath, which is normal, like this, starts to be limited down to something like this. You start to breathe like a goldfish, basically. The art of the metal practice in autumn is just to stand and connect your mind and your body again. Stand like in the structure. Stand like a tree, is often said in the East. And the way to do it is like this. You stand with your back against the wall, and you make sure that your lower back is also touching the wall. You do this by tilting your sacrum a little bit forward, your tailbone, so that your lower back is touching, relaxing your shoulders. The weight will be more on your heels than on the front of your foot, which is important for not forcing your knees. And then imagine you're holding a big tree in front of you. You relax your arms completely. It's like two little strings on your thumbs, using very little muscle. And then important there is, this circle is like the light. It's how the tree absorbs the light. It holds it all inside, and it's connected for humans with your heart. So make your face very soft. Don't be a serious tree. You're not going to stand very long then. And very different than the first two movements is like just standing. It's not about moving, this one. It's standing and breathing. So you make your mind very quiet. The only thing you do is to stand like a tree. That's all you do. If there's any thoughts or emotions, expectations, time passing by, just smile. Just let it drop to the floor like leaves falling off a tree in autumn. And every time you feel a part of your body that starts to react, that is maybe a little bit painful or tired, don't get serious, just shake a little bit and go back into the structure. And it might be so that in the beginning, the first time you do it, that 1 minute already gives you like, whew, this is heavy. But gradually, the tendons and the bones in your body will start to get stronger and stronger. It's not how long you can do it, it's the way you do it. It's the combination of being able to stand in this structure where the mind is completely still, the body is powerful and aligned. So just breathe consciously, and if you practice regularly, you can stand longer and longer, you will see. Then from the depth of the autumn, the energy moves into the winter. And winter is all about everything is already fallen away from the tree. Now it's about resourcing or revitalizing the roots. It's from the depth of the earth the new life really comes. It's all about surrendering, going with the flow, as we often say. And typical for people who don't trust the flow. Will life support me? Can I do it? What happens if I surrender, if I let myself go with the river of life? What's going to happen then? So the emotion that is connected to that is fear. The lower body starts to tense up. It's like the dog who is not really happy and waking up like this, but constantly his tail is between his buttocks the whole day. And maybe he looks very, well, happy and I'm successful and I'm doing everything I do. But if you look very carefully, the tail is always down. So it blocks the lower body and the juice from the roots cannot come up anymore. So the movements that we should do for that is to bend. It's all about gratitude. It's to surrender to this great flow of life that wants to take us along on the path. The movement looks like this. You breathe in, and when you breathe out, you bend forward. Have your legs just a little bit relaxed, not completely straight. Then sink to your legs when you come down, and bring the water of life inside of you. Have a deep in-breath. If you're a bit stiff or you have a sore lower back, then don't go so deep. So you start by breathing in, surrendering, and then roll off your spine until your head is hanging, sink, and then come up pushing on your heels, pulling your sacrum below you and make a wave in your spine. A wave coming from down all the way up. Don't push. You can't push water energy. Then it just disappeared. Surrender. Enjoy. That's a very powerful one. Then we move through the 4 different seasons, and what it all brings together is the element earth. It's the base of the whole cycle, and it's what is holding it all together. Earth is all about grounding, it's about nurturing and being nurtured. And people who feel the earth, they feel this constant support, like a big mother that is constantly there for them. If you have this energy too strong, that might lead to rigidness. And if you have the communication with this person, they tend to get a bit serious. You do this whole explanation, excited about a new idea, and in the end they tell you, so what you were saying is that. So they make it too compact, and they tend to get isolated or give the impression that they are somehow in a cave. If people are missing the earth and they are too spacious, which can also be related to fire, then they look for their reason of existence with others. They don't feel their own root. They don't feel that they are nurtured. And they feel insecure and worried, or I'm worried that I'm so insecure. It's like a dog who's trying to catch his tail. It starts all by feeling the support of the earth, feeling your feet, that they are not really on the surface, but they're part of the soil below you. And a very simple movement for that is just to sink. Can you still sink? And there's 3 different joints there, and I think the most important one is the hip joint. Then there's the knee, then there's the ankle, and to keep them in alignment. And best way to do it is to stand about 1 foot off the wall. Keep your feet parallel. Then you have a deep in-breath. Stretch out first. And when you breathe out, you come down. And make sure you keep the feet parallel and keep the heels on the floor. And you move just as far as your body allows you. It will be very hard to bend forward. The wall will help you with that. And if this is the level you can go, that's fine. You hold about 5 to 10 seconds. Have a deep in-breath. Sometimes you feel the burning a little bit. And then you breathe in again. And you stretch out again, relax. And for those of you who are a bit more flexible in the hips, then you can go a bit more down. But the spine is moving about 20 degrees forward. That will be about the maximum. If you can move all the way down, don't move all the way down, but just keep a little bit of tension on your heels. And then on the next in-breath, come up and continue to breathe in, stretch out, and go back down. Move very slow and respect the point that the body gives you where you break the structure. And breaking the structure could be leaning too much forward, which is not going to be possible. The second one will be you start to stand on your toes. It's also not very good. And the third one is that you start to move your ankles and feet like this, which is going to hurt your knees in the long run. So while practicing, make sure that the feet are parallel, and you keep like a little string pulling on your crown. Just move through the level that and the limit that the body gives you, and respect that. If you feel that the corners of your mouth are pulling too much down, you're getting too serious, and that's not going to work. Do these 5 different movements, combine them, always respect your limit, make sure you enjoy them, and you will see that step by step you can go deeper into the practice. If you have any questions or you would like to share your experiences, please share them on this page here below.